Hi, this is Bronwyn with Angry at the Right Things podcast. Let's talk about something really important, which is consistency. So, the word integrity, wholeness, maturity, wholeheartedness, and complete are all the same concept as the word consistent. They are all synonyms and they are all different characteristics of the same thing. In the Hebrew, the word for this that you could use to describe all of those things is shalom. Now, shalom is a very familiar word in America, in the United States. We know oftentimes that it's affiliated with peace or safety, and it does mean those things. But even more than that, it means consistency, wholeness, complete, mature, wholehearted. It means all those things. A consistent person is a safe person. They're a person who can give you peace because you can trust them. What you see is what you get. No surprises. On the contrary, someone who is not whole or mature is not consistent, and they have what we would call a divided mind or a divided heart. And another term we might use for such a person is two-faced. This type of person is unsafe because one part of them might be very loving and attentive and validating, and make us feel special. And we all need this. But when it's inconsistent, it plays with our heart and it hurts us and it creates false hope in us where we are just kind of strung along waiting for the next time we feel seen or loved by that person. As a therapist, I see how false hope can be fatal. Every single day, I see in my practice how my clients struggle to give up false hope on their partner or a parent, even when intellectually they know that it is hopeless. Their inner child doesn't want to surrender. Yet surrender is exactly what is needed in order to live in reality and freedom and shalom. I know this struggle personally. I refused to see my own father as a monster for the better part of 50 years. I had memories of good connection with him scattered throughout my life. And I resisted acknowledging just how scarce those memories were or how much it was costing me to hope for more of the same. In my imagination, I saw him as a cat who plays hard to get, but is worth the wait in the end. But what I now realize is he's actually more like a weasel with some soft fur, but utterly untamable and with a nasty bite. I could not domesticate a weasel, and it was hurting me. What allows us to see others for who they truly are is, big surprise here, our own integration. When we integrate with our inner child, our young self, we become whole and consistent and complete and wholehearted and mature. We become shalom, and we are now able to see ourselves and validate ourselves and love ourselves. We no longer depend on someone outside of us to make us feel seen, and we are free. We are finally able to let go of false hope for others and to live in reality. And we can do this through an integration exercise. So if you haven't already, 2 podcast episodes ago, I published a short episode called Dislodging Shame Residue. Please listen to that. It's just about 10 minutes long, and do that for yourself, because what I do is I just talk the listener through doing an integration exercise for themselves. The solution for other people's inconsistency and lack of wholeness is for us to become whole and consistent. We end up thankful to that person for providing us this great opportunity. It is a great day to become whole and have shalom. Okay, the second topic I want to talk about is the importance of listening. And this is a personal story. I don't think my parents ever listened to me. Here's what I do remember. I remember after my first day of kindergarten, trying to tell my mom about my day and her getting angry and telling me how rude I was to try to tell her about my day when I never bothered to ask her about hers. I remember around the same time trying to talk to my dad and how he also got angry and told me I wasn't talking with him, I was talking at him. Now, as a 5-year-old, I was very confused about this. And I remember trying to figure out what it would mean to talk with him versus at him. But, I was never successful. I remember being 7 or 8 and trying to talk to my babysitter and how she'd just repeatedly respond with, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. I remember doubting that she was listening to me and asking her why she kept saying, uh-huh, uh-huh, and thinking she was full of shit. Around that time, I concluded that my mom was right, that I am selfish for wanting to talk. That was the message she continually gave me by telling me I'm a selfish bitch. Those are her words. And I remember engaging in self-harm around that time after failing to go 24 hours without talking. I made a resolution that I wasn't going to talk for 24 hours because talking is selfish. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't last. And so I remember scratching my face really hard with my fingernails. And my dad saw it later and asked if I had gotten into a fight with a cat. And I said, yeah, that's what happened. Around age 9, though, I experienced something miraculous. I was away at a Girl Scout camp and I was being bullied by the girls that I was assigned to be in a tent with. So I went to the camp counselor and I asked her to give me another tent. I don't remember her name. I do know she was a college student. I remember that she asked me to wait while she put some things away. And then she led me to an open meadow. And it was just the two of us in that open meadow where she proceeded to lie down on her side on the grass, propping up her hand, her head on her hand like this. And she asked me to sit down facing her. And when I did, she looked at me, giving me her undivided attention. And she said, "Talk to me, Bronwyn. What's going on?" Well, it took me a few seconds to start talking because I was in shock. No one had ever shown me this level of importance in my life. I mean, the whole meadow was for me. Now, as a therapist, I've learned that the space we meet with our clients, whether we're meeting virtually or in person, is referred to as a container. This young woman created the most beautiful container with her undivided attention and care. She created my first imprint of therapy that day, and it was heavenly. What she communicated most that day was that I was worth her attention, that I mattered. Even if I didn't matter to my parents, I did to her. And that was the most powerful and therapeutic piece. She did help me get assigned a new tent with new girls, but most of all, she demonstrated that I'm worth her time and attention, which is a much more effective way to bully-proof a child than to temporarily change their environment. I wish I could thank her now. Now at age 54, when I've learned to give away to others what she gave to me. I've learned to give my undivided attention liberally, not just to my clients, but to children, to friends, and even complete strangers. I've learned that when you freely give love away, it doesn't run out because it is a never-ending spring that draws upon deep, deep waters. I've also learned how paradoxical it is, because those who try to hoard it for themselves, like my parents, dry up entirely. So I've quoted this before, this quote from an unknown author, but I'm going to repeat it. It is worth repeating now. And here's the quote: being listened to is so close to being loved that most people can't tell the difference. Guys, here's the truth. When we love people through listening, through giving our undivided attention, we make them powerful. But guess what? We make ourselves powerful in the process. We are powerful in that moment too. And we share our power with them. It's a win-win. Love is not a scarce resource. Our attention is not a scarce resource. There's no need to hoard. There's no need to fear. Be powerful. Make others powerful. Listen. Thanks for listening today. I hope to hear from me again. If you want to subscribe to this podcast, if you want to give me a 5-star review, I would appreciate that. And please share this with a friend. Thanks, you guys.